Hey everybody, it's Brooke here from Anita Goodesign, and I am very excited to teach you how to piece together your quilted gift basket. Now this gift basket is perfect for any holiday occasion. Today we're going to be working with our fall designs. So before we get started, here's a list of things that you need to collect for this tutorial. We're going to start off with our scissors, our lining, ruler, pins, stiffener, and our tailor's chalk. And you don't want to forget about your ribbon. Next, you're going to make sure that your blocks are all laid out in the correct orientation. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set our blocks up so that we are in a checkered board style print. And then once we have our blocks laid out, we are going to turn each block so that it is facing the center block. So now that we have all of our blocks laid out accordingly, we're going to go ahead and stitch them together by their side seams. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by the bottom row, and we're going to go ahead and flip our block over, line it up, and stitch in the ditch. Once you have your first side seam placed together, you're going to go ahead and repeat the same with the block on the other side. So go ahead and take your block, flip it, and line it up with the seam allowance on your middle block and stitch. Now that you have pieced together your first row, it's time to move on to your second row. So again, you're going to take your block, you're going to turn it in on top of the middle block, and you're going to stitch in the ditch. All right, and now that your blocks are complete, it's time to make the magic happen and piece your rows together. What you're going to do is you're going to start with your first row and you're going to fold it on top of your center row. Line everything up. I'm going to use pins for this one so I can make sure that everything is lined correctly. You may even want to press your seams as you go along with this project. That way your final block lays flat. Now that you have your first row and your middle row pinned together, it's time to stitch in the ditch all the way across. So we can go ahead and insert that into the machine. And now that your first and middle row are stitched together, you can go ahead and move your middle row forward. Take your bottom row and place it on top of your middle row so that the top of your bottom row is resting on the bottom of your middle row. So what we're going to do is we're going to line those up and we're going to pin. And again, to finish it off, you're going to stitch in the ditch all the way across. All right, and now it is time to trim your lining. So we're going to go ahead and pull our lining down. And we're going to take our finished block and place it on top of our lining. What you're going to do next is you're going to trace around your entire block and trim away. Now that you have finished trimming your lining, you can go ahead and set that to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to grab our main block that we've already completed, and we're going to grab 4 little pieces of ribbon, roughly about 3 inches each. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold our ribbon in half, and we're going to pin it on our 4 corners, and those will be the loops at the end of the tutorial for our basket. Now that you have your ribbon pinned or clipped in place, whichever you prefer, it's time to insert your design into the sewing machine so that you can tack your ribbon down in place. And now that your ribbons are tacked in place, it is time to attach your lining. You can go ahead and flip your lining so that right sides are facing together with your design. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to stitch on 3 sides, leaving the top portion of your design open. So again, you can go ahead and pin or clip that in place, whichever you prefer. I am going to go ahead and pin my design. Now that you have your lining pinned or clipped in place, you can go ahead and flip your design over. And with the wrong side of your main block facing up, you're going to go ahead and stitch in the ditch with your lining. Now remember, we are going to go from our side seams, but we're going to leave the front seam open. So you can go ahead and insert your design into the machine. All right, now that you have finished attaching your lining, it is time to flip your design inside out. Now it is time to take your stiffener and you're going to place it inside of your pouch using your open seam. You can go ahead and place your stiffener inside, and what you're going to do is you're going to pin or clip it in place. Now that you have pinned or clipped your stiffener in place, we are going to stitch in the ditch all the way down the front panels. So we're going to start at the top, we're going to stitch down on both sides, and once you have completed that, you can turn your design and stitch down those side panels as well. Now that we have finished stitching, we're going to remove our design from the machine, and we are going to close our final opening. So you can go ahead and fold your seams in and pin or clip them together. Once you have your opening pinned in place, you can go ahead and top stitch. All right, now that you have top stitched your seams shut, you can go ahead using a sharp pair of curved applique scissors and go ahead and trim away any excess threads from your project. So now that we have top stitched our block, what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler, we're going to line it up on our corner blocks. We're going to start at the base of our ribbon and we're going to line it up where the block intersects. You're going to take a piece of chalk and you're going to draw a line, and that is the line where we're going to stitch. Now that we have finished stitching all of our lines, it's time to take your ribbon at its desired length, and we're going to loop it through all of the holes we created previously. Now that you have pulled your ribbon through all of your loops, it is time to pull your basket together. All right, everybody, I had so much fun with you today stitching out your quilted gift basket. Thank you for tuning in, and I guess we'll see you next time.